months of frustration boiled over onto the street.
This is, in our minds, a disaster, right? This is a humanitarian crisis.
You're not born a homeless person. You're not born a criminal. You know, you're not born an addict. Like, things have to happen.
This is Vancouver, a city often known for its breathtaking nature and called by popular websites as one of the most livable cities in the world. However, behind the attractive scenery exists a major problem: homelessness. In 2020, the triennial homeless count revealed that there are 2,095 people identifying as homeless in Vancouver. In places such as Strathcona Park, there are tents of people living together with nowhere else to turn to. To combat this problem, everyone needs to have a solid understanding of how homelessness works. To begin with, what causes homelessness?
In terms of root causes, play a big part in that. So historical trauma, any addiction challenges, mental health challenges. There are people with both of those challenges. Some people have all of those challenges. So there's not one set reason as to why people become homeless.
As well as looking at root causes such as employment issues and, as Tracy had mentioned, mental health.
According to the 2020 homeless count, 30% are or were in the care of the ministry as a child or youth, suggesting that there is a fundamental problem in the way homeless people are treated. Furthermore, studies show that there may be a strong physical cause leading to homelessness.
If you look at any of the data, I believe is the number one cause of homelessness is that they say 53% of the homeless people have suffered a traumatic brain injury. Anywhere from 70 to 90% of those people, those 53%, have suffered traumatic brain injuries before they became homeless. You know, that is definitely my story because I was bullied really badly in school, and I was the only kid in the school in Alberta that didn't speak English, and so the kids became very bullyish. By the time I was finished grade 7, which is the first year of high school, I had suffered 7 concussions.
Now that some of the main causes are cleared up, what are some of the struggles homeless people endure? Who is most vulnerable?
There are many highly vulnerable groups in the homeless sector, and any group that already has marginalization, whether it's race, culture, economic access to education, for the Indigenous community, historical impacts of colonization, and the residential schools. Like any layer that you add on increases your vulnerability. The LGBTQ community, they're all highly vulnerable.
According to the 2020 homeless count, 21% of the homeless population identified as women and 39% as Indigenous. Moving on to the struggles homeless people may face. Seeking shelter is more difficult than most people may think. The BC 211 shelter list, which updates daily with the available spots at each homeless shelter, displays an extremely low amount of beds. This suggests that shelters are not an option for everyone, as opportunities are limited. Another aspect of Vancouver that homeless people may struggle with are anti-homeless structures. Anti-homeless structures come in multiple forms, but share a similar design quirk. They inhibit people from laying on them. Such structures include bus stops with bars preventing anyone to lay down, and other similar sitting structures designed to prevent anyone from sleeping on them. This leaves the homeless population with limited places to live, a popular one being parks. However, in these places, they are not welcomed either. Fortunately, there are some excellent opportunities for homeless individuals to become financially stable, most notably through programs that provide employment. The Covenant House, an organization that helps youth find ways out of homelessness, has a program to help them find employment and education, as presented in this video.
Covenant House has a really amazing program called Rites of Passage. I'm able to be going to school, I'm able to be getting an education. Covenant House has done amazing things for me. I don't want to be a statistic. That's the honest truth. The statistic of homelessness of an Indigenous woman, I don't want to be that statistic anymore.
As a sous chef at a nice restaurant, I earn a wage that allows me to survive now. And Covenant House has impacted my living in every way, actually. Covenant House has changed my life. They've done everything for me, and even today, they're still supporting me.
With the impactful opportunities like the one just mentioned, one may wonder why homeless people still live on the street. Unfortunately, it is not this simple.
What is the government not looking at? I mean, they're pouring money into homeless shelters and stuff, which they should, to try to get them off the street. You know, housing first kind of thing. But a homeless shelter is not a house. It's not a home. It's just a place to, you know, sleep for the night so you don't freeze to death or whatever, and maybe get some food. But what's missing in the government is putting money into recovery. You got someone that's in a shelter and he says, okay, I want to get clean now. And they say to him, okay, we can help you there. Okay, we can get you on a wait list. Might be 3 months. Right. And I'm going to go back out on the street again and wait for 3 months? No, you won't.
But perhaps you are wondering why you should even care about this issue. Well, it is hard to believe, but most homelessness is not seen on the streets or found in social housing. According to the State of Homelessness in Canada report from 2013, for every person experiencing homelessness, there are 3.5 people only considered unhoused. Knowing this, one must recognize that the people around might be vulnerable, but just not showing it.
Most homelessness in Canada is really hidden homelessness. So it is often, you know, people who are staying with a friend for a few nights because they don't have somewhere else to go. 20% of people who are homeless are teenagers and youth. So it's something to be aware of.
With such a large part of the homeless population composed of youth, there is even a stronger obligation to help them. After all, youth are the future, and each person deserves a fighting chance to live a long, healthy life. Ultimately, caring about homelessness comes down to showing empathy and recognizing the privilege to live under a roof in a caring household. To fight this sense of privilege, one of the first steps is to combat the strong stigma against homelessness, a lot of which comes from misconceptions.
We're actually asking the wrong question. We're saying, what's wrong with you? How come you're acting that way? Why are you doing that? That's the questions that public, you know, because you if you grow up in privilege, you don't do stupid things. That means you've had a nurturing parents or somebody in your childhood that really nurtured you and cared about you. You learn to value yourself because people valued you.
The media is a driving factor of the stigma against homeless people. With more negative reports of criminal behavior or public disturbances, it makes sense that many people have a negative perception of them. However, there are some good reports on the homeless population that need to be shared.
A lot of people are scared and they already see people who live in the community as someone who has the disease, any kind of disease, who, you know, don't follow the rules, and so on. However, what we saw starting in March in the downtown east side, we haven't seen any cases of COVID until summer.
To conclude, what can we do to help homeless people in the community?
So I think that being aware and knowing what homelessness looks like in your own community, knowing like even like kind of what services are available. You can volunteer, like most of those places they have volunteer opportunities at them, like say if it's a shelter or some kind of housing support system, they're always looking for volunteers. So that's definitely something you could do. Get a bunch of people and advocate to your local government.
Organizations that are frontline service providers for homelessness initiatives always need some form of clothes. Like when you think about Covenant House, they're a younger group of individuals. So if you are a younger group of population, it'd be kind of cool to provide some jackets and jeans and stuff like that, that a lot of these individuals come in with absolutely nothing. So being able to give them something fresh and something that they can feel good in wearing because it is relatable to their age group is great.
Smiling at someone can make such a big difference in their life. I know we have one story that was before my time, but just how inspired someone was, that someone was willing to say hello to him every day, and how that really helped him kind of start to give him the self-confidence to move on and not think of himself as just homeless and just victim.
Special thanks to these organizations for letting us interview them. If you'd like to learn more about how one may become homeless, we will be posting our interview with Jim Mandolin from the Homelessness Services Association of BC on our website, which is linked in the description. And if you enjoyed our video and learned something, please subscribe and follow our Instagram at Global Awakening Project for future videos. Thanks for watching.